Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/IDontWorkHereLady. It's not even the wedding yet and my wife is kicking people in the face. Alright, so my best friend is finally getting married. As the best man, I am way far behind on things such as getting my own formal wear tailored, as I've lost a ton of weight over the past year. Also being Valentine's Day, the wife and I decided to go to the appointment at the local shop together, before grabbing some wings and beers for happy hour. As I'm standing in the mini funhouse of mirrors, with what appears to be a 207-year-old Asian lady controlling my every move, only saying no anytime I even shift my weight, I hear a man, roughly 6 feet 0 inches, 200 pounds, saying excuse me over and over again. Assuming he is looking for another member of staff, the three of us ignore him entirely. Finally, after the third or fourth excuse me, the guy screams, "Are you effing deaf?" as he grabs my wife's arm and spins her around violently. Now, my wife is 5 feet 0 inches and about 105 pounds. However, being the daughter of a retired USAF colonel and current agent of the Alphabet Gang, and retired Navy lieutenant herself. My wife has years of training in a few schools of martial arts, such as Krav Maga and Taekwondo. As this man spun her around and towered over her, she elbowed him in the diaphragm and firm, but gently pushed him back away from her while stating, "I don't work here and keep your hands off of me," having God knows how many needles and such all throughout my inner thigh and nether regions. I wasn't really able to move, so I did the next best thing and attempted to tell the guy to F off and leave my wife alone. Before I could get the words out, however, old boy had decided to charge my wife in a full fighting stance. With nothing else really to do, wife took a half step back into a stance I'm used to seeing on Saturday mornings as I meander into the basement with a cup of coffee. As dude draws back a punch, leaning all of his weight into it, wife spins, and as she comes back around, the Doc Marten she's wearing connects with the side of guy's face, full tread pattern. Unlike in the movies, he didn't go flying through the air spinning, his trajectory immediately changed to that of a crashing airplane. Fully unconscious, dude turned into one of those circular racks of clothing, almost completely disappearing inside. Finally, another member of staff comes running, saying the police are on their way. It took about 3 minutes for the police to arrive, and as they walked in, dude was just finding his way out of the tangle of expensive dress clothes I thought would be his tomb. With statements from myself, the two staff, and finally cameras, dude not only found himself with a shattered orbital and a few broken teeth, but he was handcuffed to the gurney as they loaded him into an ambulance. I swear, I can't take her anywhere. Next story. I actually do work here, but probably not how you think. Context: I work in a hospital. Also context: I have a baby face and I'm short. On any given day, I can be mistaken for a high school student playing dress up, so I don't really begrudge people for mistaking me for a volunteer. Unless you're mean. It's a weekend and I'm scheduled to work 28 hours. In my hospital, our staff are pretty distinctive. Nurses wear white, surgical staff wear blue, and techs or other staff wear black. I'm wearing the baggy surgical scrubs to be as comfortable as possible while in hell. I'm rushing around, trying to see to my patients, and stop by to say hi to a few nurses I recognize. We chat a little, and one asks me where I'm going. I mention the patient room and they give each other looks, bad sign number 1, before looking at me and assuring they check in, bad sign number 2. I thank them, then I dip into the patient room. Me, hi. Patient, visibly irritated, about time you came in here. I'm done with my food. Me, okay, do you want me to clear that tray for you? Patient, looks at me like a dumbass while I'm done with it, aren't I? Alright then. Grumpy guy. Whatever, it happens. I go to move the tray and notice his wife sitting in a chair by his bed. She's looking apologetic to me and moves to take the tray, but I wave her off and settle it to the side. Me, hi. I'm. Patient, I need to go to the bathroom. Me, okay. I can come back if you'd like. Patient, again looking at me like I'm a dumbass, I need to go to the bathroom. Me, sir, you're welcome to use the restroom. I can come back when you're done. Patient, this place is ridiculous. You aren't even going to help me? I'm out of major surgery and you can't help me up and piss? Me, pulling out my patient list more for show than anything else, because I have it memorized. This bitch had finger surgery in his non-dominant hand. He has one completely unwrapped hand and his legs work fine according to my record, sir. You passed your physical therapy yesterday and have unlimited ability to get in and out of bed and move on your own. However, I also can provide a urinal for you if you'd like. Patient, yelling, this is effing ridiculous. I just had major surgery. I'm in effing pain. You want me to just lie in my own effing piss? You should be effing helping me. Hold my effing D like a good girl and effing help me piss. At this point, I see a few nurses duck their head in to check on me, but I wave them off. This dude needs an ego check. Me, sir. That is a highly inappropriate request. If you want assistance with your needs, we will provide it, but we will not tolerate being verbally harassed. Patient, I'm not effing listening to some effing nurse tell me what to effing do. You effing do what your effing job is. Patient's wife, she's not a nurse. Patient, I don't effing care what she effing is. I'm not effing listening to your effing crap if you won't effing help me. I don't effing want to see you ever again. Me, just to confirm, sir, that you don't want to see me? Patient, did I effing stutter? I said effing go away, little girl. I want a new nurse. At this point, his nurse steps into the room with hospital security, the kind who are built like NFL linebackers, respond to psych issues, and have handcuffs. Nurse, doctor, is it really butter? I called security out of concern for staff safety. Security officer, are you okay and do you require assistance? Me, no, but I would like you two to witness for me that the patient would no longer require our services, and pain management will sign off now per patient insistence. I'll alert his surgery team. Nurse and security officer nods. Nurse makes a note in her papers. Patient is now visibly buffering as he's processing. Patient, loading, probs at like 50% weight, doctor? With pain management? Me, yes, I'm the pain management doctor. Your team wanted me to see you to assess your post-operative pain, but I understand that we are not needed. I will let your team know. Patient, anger downloaded, you could have effing told me. You're effing leaving? I want a effing new pain doctor. Me, smiling serenely, sir, it is the weekend. I am the only pain management doctor. As two other witnesses have noted, you have fired me from your care. Good day. I go off on my merry way as this guy starts going ballistic. It's not standard for the pain service to be asked to see a hand surgery, but I did it as a favor to the orthopedic surgeon since the patient is, quoting the surgeon, a little bitch about his finger pain. I asked the nurse to let me know what happens when the patient realized I'm the only one in the whole hospital who can write for high-dose narcotics that he keeps demanding. Next story. I destroy a demanding Karen's grocery list. I was doing my weekly grocery shopping at one of the supermarkets in my area, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I was wearing a collarless Celtic grandfather shirt and a kilt. A Karen came up to me, assuming for some weird reason that I am an employee. How many stores on Cape Cod have kilts as part of the dress code for male employees, and hits me with the infamous "excuse me." I said yes, and she shoved a piece of paper, her grocery list, in my hand. I handed it back to her and said, "Sorry, I don't work here." She then shoved her grocery list in the front pocket of my shirt, saying, "Don't lie to me. Do your job." Rather than argue, I took the grocery list out of my shirt pocket, ripped it in half and then in half again. I then threw the pieces into the air. She started screaming for a manager. It just so happened the manager on duty wasn't far away and recognized me, because, frankly, there are not too many men on Cape Cod who wear a kilt almost every day spring, summer and fall, and I am a regular customer. She demanded I be fired and he explained I was a customer and did not work there. He then picked up the pieces of paper from her torn-up grocery list, handed them back to the Karen and told her that she could find tape to tape her list back together again for sale in the next aisle where the school supplies are. She stood there, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of the water, and he and I walked up to the cashiers so I could pay for my groceries. I don't know what happened after that as I headed out to my car, loaded my groceries inside and drove home. Next story. Crazy woman assaults me for not knowing where the coffee is. A little bit of background is in order here. I grew up in a very abusive household. Berating, gaslighting, emotional blackmailing, hitting, screaming were all on daily basis for the first 23 years of my life until I have finally saved up enough money and mustered enough courage to leave that hellhole of a place. I have moved to a different town, about 2 hours by train, found myself a small apartment and a quiet job as an office assistant. I have also started therapy as soon as I settled in to become more of a person instead of a big pile of poo my parents made me believe I was. Now, unpacking all the baggage wasn't easy, and in the first 2 years of therapy I was a wreck. High functioning, but still a wreck. I was diagnosed with CPTSD, depression, anxiety, and a couple other things on top. I was fortunate enough to have such understanding colleagues and at least didn't have to worry about my job or income on top of everything. With that out of the way, let's get to the actual encounter. It was about 10 months after my move. One Saturday after a really long crying episode, I went to the fridge to find out it was empty, save for a lone pickle in a jar, and I needed to go get some groceries if I don't want to live on crackers and pickle water. I totally wasn't in any shape to go anywhere where there might be other people, but it was my fault for postponing the trip for so long, so I have just pushed myself to get dressed, brush my teeth and hair, grab a shopping basket and go to the nearest supermarket, which was incidentally the same chain I was working in part and full-time when I was still living with my parents in the other town, which really wasn't surprising since the chain is in like every bigger town. So I walk into the shop, already shaking and anxious and trying to attract any attention to myself whatsoever. I grab a bit of produce, carton of milk, several packets of ham and cheese, some yogurt. I am almost done, just a bag of sugar, some pasta and ketchup and I can bolt to the register, I am telling myself when someone taps me on the shoulder and I am immediately triggered, meaning most of my systems shut down in order not to do something stupid. I slowly turn around to see an angry-looking woman that could be my mother, which is acting as another trigger, nervously tapping her foot on the floor. Can I, help you? I manage to get out through the fog because my polite system stays operational at all times. About time you noticed me, I've been talking to you for about 3 damn minutes by now. Where is that coffee that is supposed to be on sale? It takes me a while to process what she was saying and formulate an answer. I don't know? I don't drink coffee. What do you mean you don't drink coffee? I didn't ask you to drink it, you dimwit, I asked you where I can buy it. At this point, the lady is practically screaming at me, at which point I start to back away from her and then everything goes blank. The next thing I knew, I was staring at a hospital ceiling with a throbbing pain at the back of my head and a nurse leaning over me asking me how I am feeling, to which I am asking her what day and time it is and what the hell happened. She frowns and says, "It's Sunday 8 p.m. and apparently you hit that shelf pretty hard." I just let myself fall asleep again because I seriously wasn't in any shape to think straight at that point. On Monday my therapist came, helped me call my workplace since I definitely wasn't coming to work for a couple days, then 2 police officers came in to take my testimony and ask if I want to press charges, which has taken me aback. Like me suing someone? For what? Apparently, after I started backing away from the woman, I shut down for good and started frantically pleading with her to please not hurt me, while she continued to scream and close in on me, until I could not step back any further, at which point she got so upset she grabbed my shirt and yanked me to her to be close to my face, to which I have instinctively reacted by pushing her away with as much force as I could. Since she didn't expect retaliation, she lost her balance, let go of my shirt and we both went backwards. She has landed on the tile floor bruising her, but while I hit the shelf behind me head first. The security guard and one of the employees got there in about the same moment, so they saw us fight and fall. The security guy went to help the Karen, still screaming on top of her lungs that she wants me fired for being rude, while I was curled up on the floor, hands around my bleeding head, crying and promising I'll be good, just don't hurt me anymore. Anyway, police and paramedics came. Officers scooped up Karen after seeing the camera footage, while paramedics scooped up me and got me to the hospital with a fine brain concussion. It has turned out that the Karen was originally from the same town as me and saw me working at the supermarket there regularly, so when she happened to be in a different town it didn't occur to her that I am not working in that particular store. And since she was somehow acquainted with my mother, who most likely told what a piece of I am, she treated me accordingly. Or at least that's my conclusion. To this day, I am not aware on any other interaction between us than this. I ended up pressing the charges after consulting my therapist. I think Karen got charged with assault, destroying property, and something I don't really remember and apparently didn't bother writing down, and ended up in jail for 2 years since I've got head injury, and my lawyer didn't miss the opportunity to throw in my mental health state as well. I didn't set foot in that supermarket for at least a year afterwards, just bought a new shopping basket and went elsewhere. When I eventually did go back, I ran into that employee that was there during the incident, and they told me a couple details the police and doctors omitted, like the part where I was crying and begging on the floor. I've had a couple more encounters with Karens after that in various places, but by that time I was fortunately way better off mentally and never broke down like that again in public. Which is also why I am able to write about this now, at least anonymously like this. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.